Good morning, and welcome to the What Inspired Me Today podcast, a podcast created to inspire you to be the very best that you can be. My name is Stephen Matthew, and this is what inspired me today. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. It is an honor and a privilege to be speaking with you today. With everything that's been happening on in the world, and particularly in the global political scene, what I wanted to share with you was some encouragement and some challenges for us to develop ourselves and our future generations to become global citizens. The quote that I wanted to share with you was something that I saw hanging off the door of one of the offices of my colleagues. The quote is from Thomas Paine, and it says this: "The world is my country, all mankind are my brethren, and to do good is my religion." I like the sentiments of this quote because it challenges us to think beyond ourselves, beyond our small community, and to think outside of all of us to the wider world around us. A global citizen is a term that's for social and environmental and economic actions that are done by individuals and communities as well, who recognize that everyone is a citizen of our world. It's about how all of our individual decisions affect not only the people around us, but everyone around us as well, and how we all share a common humanity and equal worth as well. It's about engaging positively with people that have different identities and different cultures and being able to recognize and then ultimately challenge stereotypes that we might have from different areas and regions. And ultimately, it's about how we use and share all of the resources that the earth provides and what we have fairly, and upholding human rights for everyone. So why am I talking about this, right? Part of the reason why I wanted to share this was because this is something that has been instilled in me as I grew up. I have parents and wider family members who have been widely engaged with a whole bunch of things around the world. Part of it is, I think, really in relation to the fact that I have been a first generation migrant multiple times now, going around the world, restarting life in different places. And so as a result of that, it's opened my eyes up to see how different people interact, how they engage, and how we set ourselves up in different places and what we form as our own identities. Because if you ask me right now, and this was a real thing that I experienced in my travels, when people ask me, hey, where are you from? Well, where do I say I'm from? Well, I was born in India, but I have lived in New Zealand most of my life, and now I have built a family in America. And so I don't necessarily have a one distinct identity that I belong to one specific area. In fact, just as I've seen in my own life, seeing my uncle and seeing other people in my family who have traveled around the world and have lived extensively in different places of the world, actually, I feel myself as being part of a global citizen, someone who feels like that they are part of the world. But global citizenship actually goes beyond just what we identify as, but it also goes towards what we believe in, how we can challenge our own thinking and our own mindsets about the world. It's about experiencing our local connections, but then also what are our views about our global situations? What are our values? What are the assumptions that we make in the world? What is our sense of justice, both for social justice issues locally, but then also what is our sense of justice throughout the world? And what is the complexity of that, right? Like, we can't make massive changes throughout the world per se as an individual, but how can we make better decisions every single day within the space that we hold in our own world as well? And ultimately, with the information that we have, how can we make more informed and reflective actions for our future? This is really, really important because what it helps us to do is it helps us to develop our own understanding of world events. It helps us to think about our own values and what's important to ourselves in the global context. And then also learn about other people, learn about other cultures, learn about what's going on in the world and how things work, right? that helps us to challenge our own ignorance and intolerance because we all have elements of this, whether we want to admit it or not. What are the prejudices that we hold? What are the biases that we hold? If we can challenge ourselves to sit in that uncomfortable state, we can then grow to then make better changes and to be better global citizens. And then as we do that, then we can actually be more involved in our local communities, in our national communities, and our global communities as well. Because we all do actually have the power to make positive changes in the world. It starts with an individual, but it grows as people come together to make our world a better place. This is going to be particularly important as we teach our future generations how to interact with the world around them. The world is a big place, but with the technology available, with everything that is in our fingertips, it has become a lot smaller. But global citizenship, the education of that allows us to help students and to help the future generations develop their sense of curiosity, for them to ask questions about other cultures and about other situations and problems facing the world. I had a question asked to me by a fifth grader the other day about why is it and how is it that in Indian culture there are so many other gods than just the monotheistic gods that we have here. And so I got had a chance to explain about different religions and different cultures and how they interact with the world around them. That is an awesome, awesome opportunity to be able to spark curiosity. It allows us to then be able to teach about intercultural knowledge and how other cultures interact, what they read, what are their traditions, what are the things that tie their cuisines together. It gives us then the chance to be able to discuss those sort of things. And having kids and young adults and younger people being engaged with the world and being curious about the world around them is a great way to reduce the risk of discrimination, reduce the risk of biases, as well as any sort of stereotyping that could occur if they are insular and not knowledgeable about the world around them. Because what it does is it actually helps us to develop our interconnectedness, knowing that there are differences and that differences aren't a bad thing. Just because someone else thinks differently from me doesn't mean that they're an enemy, doesn't mean that they are horrible. It means that they think differently and they might have different value systems. To be able to understand that helps me to then develop respect for the diversity that is available because we all have a plethora of knowledge and experience and life that we have all lived. And they're all vastly different lives that we have all lived. One person's life is not more important than another person's life. We all share in this world around us. And so that helps us to think critically, to develop empathy and understanding as well. That's why it's really, really important to develop the sense of global citizenship, not only in ourselves, but in the people around us as well. This can be uncomfortable, particularly when we are trying to understand people that we might be really vehemently against, right? Still taking the time to understand and learn why someone might think the way that they do, why they might hold different value systems. We still don't have to agree with it, but at least understanding and taking the time to understand someone we might disagree with is a great learning experience for us to then make our own informed decisions for ourselves as well. And so this is a big topic. We can talk about this for a long time if we wanted to. But what I wanted to encourage you is that we are not insular. Everything that we do is interconnected with the world around us. And no matter how much we try and protect ourselves or silo ourselves from what's going on, that's not going to actually help us to then interact with the world around us in a meaningful and healthy way. In fact, doing that is actually maladaptive because we're sticking our heads in the sand, stopping ourselves from really growing and gaining the knowledge and the respect and the dignity that comes with knowing that everyone around us has something that they can teach us. this is just what I wanted to share with you. It's been on my mind for a little while. It's something that I've been taught to learn from a young age to recognize the world around us. That we are not just part of one place, we are part of the global world around us. So, may I encourage you today to develop in your global citizenship. With that said, have a great week.